Okay, you'll have to excuse my terrible quick drawings of this, but a question we're getting a lot, I've noticed the last few weeks, is what's the value in your products? What is the difference? What I don't understand your approach. Why Ecolon? I could go to 50 other companies. So this is just a short, super simple version of a very complex thing of soil biology, of nature. But anyway, in a nutshell, I kind of want to give you an idea of a little bit of difference. And so, just so you know, I grew up in the chemical industry back in the East Coast, so I have a lot of experience. I know what companies do, and just so you know, I have no intention to badmouth any company. I really believe in alliances and friendships is the best way to do business. So, if this is what your company's doing, that's. I'm not here to just put that away. I'm just here to point out a little bit of the differences on a very small scale of what I'm trying to do, knowing that I've come from that world and now I'm trying to get us to the future, as far as with lawn care, with organics being effective, with safer products, with people caring more about what's going down into the environment, using what's out available to us now. I'm trying to get us to that place. I've been working on this for over a decade. So this is a terrible picture of a bag of fertilizer, right? This is a 4600. This is a very common fertilizer that companies will use. Whether it's liquid or granular, they'll dump a bag of this in a spray tank. It's the cheapest product on the market. It does a great job of getting you a green lawn. It's straight urea, and it really can green and light a lawn up. The problem is it's off balance. It doesn't have any balance. There's no any other nutrients in it, any macros. It's just nitrogen, and it's one source generally. It's urea. It's not. There's multiple sources of nitrogen. And so it's a very off-balance thing. It's great at getting a good lawn-looking green, but there are some downsides. What is it doing to the biology in the soil? If the lawn is getting that green off of one nutrient, how off-balance are we? And if your lawn and soil, what you're putting in there is off-balance, think about what's below, what that, in the food web, the soil food web, what that will do to the local area. So what they do is they'll take that, and it's the cheapest product in the market. They'll dump usually a bag of that covers half an acre, so they'll dump so many bags into a tank. And if you're lucky, sometimes they'll throw some iron in, which is another nutrient. It helps to green up the lawns here in Utah. It's inexpensive. And then they'll throw in some weed control with a 2,4-D. Again, I'm not here to badmouth that. I'm just showing the difference. That's kind of more of a common thing. I've done that for years back east before I discovered some other ways. And so let's just move on to a little bit about what we're trying to do. So here's our bag. Again, terrible drawings, but as you can see, it's a 24-310, so the nitrogen level is a lot lower. It's almost half of this urea. And we're going to get you the same color and the same results using half of that. The nitrogen source isn't just urea. It has some urea, but we have nitrogen sources that are low on the salt index. And a lot of products, they use salt to carry the active ingredient, the nitrogen, to the plant. The downside is when you get too much sodium buildup in the soil, you throw off the balance. And so like in the winter here, people salt their driveways, and often that gets shoveled into the grass right by it. And a lot of times we have to repair that grass because it's getting way overloaded with sodium, and so we have to balance it out. And so this is a slow release. So versus a quick release, you feed it, and the lawn eats as much as it can, and the rest generally is wasted. It's pulled back to the atmosphere from evaporation. Actually, a lot of it's just the lawn can only eat so much. It can only take in so much at a time. A lot of it is wasted. Slow release, when you add that into it, it breaks down slowly. So there's different formulas, but maybe 40% of that's available right away for the plant, and the other 60 is stored. It's like saving some meals for the future. It has potassium, so that's going to help your roots grow deep. Ours have organic soil conditioners in them, so we add a lot of organic additives that we have found can actually decrease the amount of over-the-counter nutrients that you need and use what you're putting down, the 24. So with adding the organic conditioners with that 24%, I can get you a great green lawn, as green as this, with half the amount, and that's a good step in the right direction. Ours have microbes in them. We have products in our liquid mixes. I can't even talk today. We add in microbes, compost tea, organic, recycled compost, extracted microbes, feeding them back into the lawn. When I say microbes, I'm talking about microorganisms, bacteria, fungi, nematodes, these things that we put back into the soil to balance it out. And then we have micronutrients. So again, we'll have some of our products have 5, 6, 7 different, like manganese, zinc, copper. So it's kind of this full balanced meal. When you get down to the weed controls, we generally do a spot treatment. So a lot of times over here, you'll mix it all in a big tank and spray it out because it's fast, it's efficient. One guy can grab that hose and be done with that lawn in 10 minutes. He doesn't have to go back and get the backpack spray or pull the hose. It's one treatment. There is a place and a time for that. When you have a new client signs up in May 15th and their lawn is wall-to-wall dandelions, sometimes it makes more sense to kind of get it, what they call blanket spray, under control and then manage it organically or using more eco-friendly products. But we'll spot treat, so it means we're only going to target the areas that you have weeds. And so it does take more time, and that's on us. That's part of our program. And we do have eco-friendly weed controls, which when it comes to safety, I found most people, that's what they care about. They're not worried about this being dangerous. It's minerals, but it's the 2,4-D that people are uncomfortable with. So we do have options that have no 2,4-D. They just use minerals to kill the weed control. They're going to be about 30% more expensive than other programs, but that's just what it is. And so that's a little bit of the difference. Let me just show you a quick 30 seconds on the, and this is terrible, but as you can see, my awful drawing, this here represents the soil. And here on the top is your grass. I don't know why it's red because I don't have a green marker. And then here is these are all your root systems. And so with our approach, we're not only focused on this top half. We're not just trying to feed this top half to get green growth. Most problems in a lawn and most successes can actually be found down here, below the soil. All these little dots, that's going to represent microorganisms. Now that's only about 20. There's probably billions in this little spot. Which are bacteria, which are fungi. And so when you have a healthy soil, things are eating each other, and then their waste gets eaten by other things. I don't want to get too complicated. The soil food web is what it's called. And then as they get eaten, they release things back into the soil. It unlocks natural nutrients. And so my whole point on this is just to show you that our approach is we try to be balanced. So we have macronutrients, micronutrients, organic conditioners. We try to stay away from the chemicals. Again, there are some times when we do need to come in with something stronger, and we try to tell everyone that. But if you are not comfortable with that, we absolutely have a plan that will never have anything like that. Those times are, like I said, if your lawn is way out of control or you have certain weeds that are 2 feet tall, I can't kill those organically or naturally. And then again, we're focused on getting the green grass what it needs, feeding the grass plant, but also a big focus is down here on the soil, the bacteria. Make sure in that line everything's in order. The last thing I'll say is when you over abuse this here, and I know this from research and doing it, unfortunately I did it myself for 15 years because I didn't know. When you put too much of this down, too much of that salt, too much of one nutrient, it gets unbalanced. And what happens is these guys, which are the lifeblood of this biology down here, they start dying off. They get irritated. When these guys die off, you're going to see a decrease in earthworms. You're going to see a decrease in beneficial insects that naturally aerate your lawn, naturally put waste in your lawn that actually benefits it, natural fertilizer sources. And all you have is a lawn that it may be the greenest lawn on the block, but there's no life down here. And so it's not sustainable. It's kind of hooked on this. And so our goal is to take your lawn from this to eventually the last step, which is 100% organic lawn that reacts to compost teas, that doesn't need any fertilizer inputs. It's a process. It takes time. It takes years to get to the final step, but it can be done. And some other guys are doing this throughout the world, in Canada and on the East Coast. And so that's our goal. But for right now, our goal is to get you to here, where you have a balanced program that's still affordable for you, where you're feeding these little guys down here and having a great, healthy lawn. Thank you.